Hi, everybody. Tabletop Santa here, coming to you from Decatur, Illinois, because I have to, as I've said before, I got to come down here because the internet sucks up in the North Pole, and the elves are the worst IP folks. I have got Michael Ritchie from Rather Dashing Games with us today. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about Rather Dashing Games. What would people know you for, and how long have you all been around?
Rather Dashing Games has been around since 2011, and it's gone through a whole bunch of changes during that time. It started as I was freelancing game designing, and I wanted to get deep in the industry. And then a friend and I started up Rather Dashing as a kind of a small design studio, which rapidly outgrew just the two of us. We then were acquired by a large print company named Kalmbach, and we worked there for a few years, but now we're owned by Lauren Coleman, who owns Catalyst Game Labs and a bunch of other imprints, and it's a really good home there.
Nice.
So some things that are by far our most popular game that we sell is called Elements. That's done and continues to do very well for us. We've also got some cooperative Awakening Lair. It's a cooperative dungeon crawl. We've got some we've got an interesting range of games, but we're coming out with some really cool stuff for 2021. I've also, since, like I said, Lauren Coleman owns us, who owns Catalyst. He also owns a company called Redshift, which I project manage and oversee. That people would know pretty much strictly as Kittens in a Blender, which is a very different feel from the Rather Dashing world. Yeah. But that's also launching. That's much smaller, portable, games in a tuck box, very quick, little irreverent. So like we're coming out with things like Unicorn Stew, Taco Apocalypse, things like that.
Okay, very cool. Taco Apocalypse.
Taco Apocalypse.
That sounds amazing. In the end of the big was it Fast Food Wars? Only Taco Bell stood.
Oh yeah, that is an awesome Demolition Man reference, which not a lot of people would get. But yeah, all the food's radioactive and tries to eat you. There's the dreaded Chalupa Cabra.
That sounds amazing. So you said Elements is one of the games that Rather Dashing is kind of known for. What are a couple other games in your library?
Like I mentioned, Awakening Lair, cooperative dungeon crawl. We have Hafid's Grand Bazaar, which is it's kind of like a light Euro negotiation bidding and bidding game. I was going to say bluffing, but there's no bluffing. It's actually a rule. You have to tell the truth. We've got some tile laying games that are a little bit more family and kid oriented. Okay. We have dice chuckers called We Come in Peace. Right. And yeah, we're moving into 2021. We're actually really expanding our repertoire. We are licensed to produce a game for Downton Abbey. Nice. And also for the kids show on PBS Wildcrats. We're also another dungeon crawl, and we're coming out with this really beautiful, almost Arabic fairy tale-esque game, which we're still arguing over the title. So.
Yeah, I think Scheherazad's already taken. Yeah,
I think so too. Which was made the list until we looked it up.
Yeah, that's super cool. I like the fact that you're delving into some licensed material, which is going to help pull that fan base of that product line over to you guys, which is awesome. Yeah. And Downton Abbey is a pretty popular program from what I understand.
I actually really like the show. My wife turned me on to it, and I like that era of history. It spans, it literally starts the day after the Titanic sunk and goes through World War I into the Roaring '20s. So it's a really interesting period of history for me.
That is cool. So as far as all that goes, is Redshift, the other company that you're now managing, with Kittens in a Blender, and the Taco Apocalypse, are those all kind of, is that kind of going to be the how that brand is going to be represented? Is it kind of that fun small box kind of thing?
Yep, that's the plan. There's Kittens in a Blender. We're coming out with Kittens in a Blender Deluxe this year. Then it's going to be followed closely by Unicorn Stew, which the premise is the king is always hungry, but he doesn't know what he wants. He just wants something quick and dragon-like. So it's a scramble for all of the chefs of the realm to use fairy tale creatures to make food for the king, which is amazing. It runs that line of cute and macabre pretty well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The art is like the first time I was handed the project, I did not design this game. I was handed the project and I like almost spit my drink onto my computer screen because the art is like a bacon leprechaun and tomato sandwich.
That sounds amazing. And also I can imagine the art is, it's going to be pretty good stuff. Because that's one of the things that I know about like rather dashing games, which I'm sure is going to bleed into any project that you're managing, is you've always had like really nice quality table presence and artwork in all your products. So I can only see that bleeding into any other projects you're on. So that's awesome.
No, I really appreciate that. I try. We always make mistakes, and there's always things like you're like, oh, I would have done that differently. But yeah, we try to definitely keep a level of quality to our products that makes you want to play. Makes these are games I would go buy,
right?
You know, whether or not I design them or not. And there's projects I've kind of bowed out on because like I as a gamer wouldn't buy it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be my style. Like I can respect games that I wouldn't play much myself because they're still well done, they're well thought out, and things like that.
Right. So as far as games in the Rather Dashing library, what are some ones you would absolutely recommend people go out and get for the holidays, for their friends, family, any small gatherings with social distancing taken into account? Should they be picking up that have the Rather Dashing publishing stamp on it?
Like I said, Element is our crowd pleaser, and that's for a reason. It's been award winning. It's like an abstract game. It's a little bit chess, a little bit Go, a little bit checkers, but it's, you know, you're playing in 10 minutes, but it's got a very long, I mean, I designed the game over 10 years ago and people are still showing me interesting strategies.
Nice.
There's a game on its heels called Alder, which is a card game. It's kind of a weird thing. It's an abstract card game set in that Element universe, which includes an expansion to Element in the box.
Oh, wow.
If you like cooperative games, then Awakening Lair, the dungeon crawl. If you like a dice check, we've played it together.
Yes,
yep, and
I enjoy that game.
Yep, and Maureen couldn't roll anything over a 1. You know. And if you like dice checkers, We Come in Peace that's a good beer and pretzel or milk and cookies game.
Milk and cookies.
I recommend any of those. I know. I never met a cookie I didn't like.
Same. Very cool. Now, you also said you do have a couple like small stocking stuffer types, right?
For not so much in the Rather Dashing realm. Most of our, like, where is it? Actually, this is about as small as our box gets.
Yeah. Okay. So I would almost say, I mean, with my stocking, that would be a stocking stuffer.
You know, it depends on your stocking.
Right.
I mean, maybe a Ferrari will fit in someone's stocking. I don't know.
Right. That's Alder, right?
Yeah, this is Alder. This is lower price point, but you know, I'd say that. I would say any of our drawn and quartered series, Pirates, Ninjas, Robots, Zombies, Graveyards, Ghosts, and Houses would work. Hafid, that's one that makes people not trust each other, which is always good for the holidays.
Right. I mean, why not?
Right. Why not end the day yelling at each other over, you know, over mythical resources?
Facts. Very cool. Now, so I'd like to kind of the last couple questions I ask are going to be along the lines of the holidays, right?
Sure.
And not about games. So
okay.
Are you prepared?
I don't know anything about anything else. I'm a one-trick pony. Sure, bring it on.
All right. So my first question is, Mike, what is one of the things that you and your family do that is your traditional holiday thing?
On holiday or just the holiday season?
Let's go to season. You know, because some people do that.
Christmas always begins for us by, you know, pretty much the day after Thanksgiving, where we set up, we put on White Christmas, the movie White Christmas, and we have that going while we set the house up. And then throughout the season, it's looking at Christmas lights, and we try to add at least one snowman and other Christmas ornament to our collection each year, and on the bottom of all of them, they're dated.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
they are. That's something I learned from my grandparents were Depression era World War II people. So everything had value, and so things were dated. Things were like there was like it was almost like a living journal.
Right.
And my wife and I really appreciate that because you pick up something, you're like, oh yeah, 2006, we were blah blah blah.
Right.
And our son, who's 9 years old, is really picking up on that nostalgic factor of the holidays.
That's cool. That's super cool. Now, the other one I have is more for you, not so much your family, but what is a Christmas dish or treat that you really look forward to during the holidays?
This is going to really make me sound old-fashioned. I love making traditional wassail.
Wassail.
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe what that is?
Wassail is a old-fashioned drink. It's made a few different ways. So whatever way I'm going to say it, there's going to be people out there like, no, no, no. You make it with. Mine is traditionally a mix of orange juice,
okay,
cider, and then you add to that your mulling spices and some cranberries and a little bit of brown sugar, depending on how sweet you want it. I'm not a super sweet person.
okay.
And then you let it simmer, and it's a nice, hot, very Christmassy beverage.
Cool.
I mean, there's an old song, wassail, and here we come a wassailing, and all that kind of stuff. So it makes the house smell great, and it's one of those like Dickens-esque conversation starters for people.
That's awesome. I would say I'm going to need the recipe for that, because one of the things I'm doing with all the interviews I've been doing is taking the things that I have never tried or had before and trying it this year, because then I can come back and go like, well, I tried that and my beard grew 3 inches, you know, so, or whatever, right? Which I think it's kind of
the Christmas mana.
right. Like someone told me they make like a vinegar pie for Christmas, and it's like a family tradition, and I'm like, and they really like it, and it's kind of like I guess like a lemon meringue, but it has more of a vinegar tart, like rhubarb flavoring to it.
I've had something. We didn't call it vinegar pie, but I've actually had something similar when I was a kid. They made it, and maybe this is a totally different thing, but my again, the Depression era, it was apple pie, but it made with applesauce and crushed up crackers to give, because you didn't have fresh apples.
Right.
And you had to put vinegar in to give it that tartness. So maybe that's similar, but maybe not. I don't know.
It might be. I got the recipe. I haven't really delved into it because I'm not going to start making any of these things until like a week or two before Christmas or whatever. Right. But yeah, I was so hearing those things that like you have that one, I was like, this sounds amazing, because I usually drink a drink called Glug, which is a Swedish mulled wine.
Yeah, I love Glug.
Yeah, so I usually have that because that was my ex-wife's thing that we did with the kids, and we'd go to IKEA, or her parents would send stuff from Sweden, you know, and we'd be like, this is what we have. So that's one of my favorites to drink. And then to eat is called Lusabula, which is like based off of Santa Lucia, you know, that was, you know, and everything. But it's like a saffron roll that has 2 raisins, and it looks like a little bow knot. And I don't know what it is about it, but
okay,
like my mouth is watering right now thinking about these things. So.
Well, you have to send me that recipe, and I'll send you my wassail recipe.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Well, Mike, thank you so much. And I know that 2021 is going to be awesome, because I'm hoping that we'll all be able to be back out, be able to shake each other's hands, give each other socially distanced like hugs or whatever. Like, yeah, we'll just like, yeah, we'll sci-fi it.
Right.
But yeah, I look forward to that and seeing you out there and stuff, and talking about all the weird and random things that we always seem to fall into a conversation on.
I know we see each other usually a few times each year, and the last time we saw each other was PAX in Boston.
Were you not at Gamma?
Oh no, we saw each other at Gamma. Sorry,
because I thought at Gamma you had all those posters, right?
Yeah, because we no booth.
Right.
Our booth stuff didn't ship, so I just put posters up.
Yeah. And I think we were talking about puzzles then.
Yeah, well, that's when it occurred to me because I was watching the whole I was watching the dominoes fall, and I'm like, what are people going to be doing if they're stuck at home? And
Right. And what's funny is I think a lot of publishers did jump onto the puzzle train,
yeah,
that are out there, which is great because, like I've said before, the artwork, and I know I was getting ready to close this out, but we jumped onto another topic, which is super cool.
sorry.
No, it's awesome because the thing, like I mentioned earlier in this, is the artwork, the presentation. And sometimes, when you have your box up on the shelf, you don't get to see it. But when you get to put it on your table and put it together in puzzle form, it just gives you even more love towards that stuff. And I love puzzles. So
I do too. And well, I didn't used to, but I've grown to love them.
yeah.
My wife is one of 8 kids, so she grew up doing puzzles all the time, and so now we do puzzles as well. But I agree about the art. I work with some phenomenal artists, and sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to cover that image up with text, but I have to because it's for a game, and
Right. No, and you do like you have some great artists, and the ability to take their art and make it into another product that is also enjoyable and gives you, because there's something to be said about when you're sitting there with your friends, family, partner, and you're doing your puzzles, and you can have those conversations like you can with a board game. With a board game, we know that there's going to be a little bit more of like, all right, they're out to get me or whatever. So you're going to have those and stuff. But during a puzzle, you're really cooperative in your stuff, which can also lend to some really good conversations with your friends and family. And then at the end, the sense of completion and seeing the artwork is just, I just adore it. So, all right.
Yeah, I could go on and on. We could go on forever.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much again for stopping by and talking with us, or me here at Decatur Poll. Like I said, I look forward to seeing you again. And to everybody out there watching, make sure you go and follow Rather Dashing Games on all their social media platforms. We're trying to talk them into getting on TikTok as well. We'll figure that one out. And also look up Redshift and also Catalyst Game Labs. They're all part of the same family and worthy of your follow and like, because you're going to find out some really cool information on some really cool games. So until we get to talk again, I'm Tabletop Santa, and I hope to see you at a game store.